full-time skilled trades apprenticeship program while still earning a high school diploma.
According to the province, registrations for apprenticeships in the skilled trades are up almost 25% over last year. For women, registrations are up almost 30%. But in almost every trade, students can't register until they have that high school diploma. Ontario Labour Minister Monty McNaughton says this change will remove that barrier.
In countries like the UK and Germany, young people have completed their apprenticeship by the age of 21. But in Ontario, the average age of an apprentice is 29. We must make it easier for young people to start careers in the trades. This fall, we'll be exploring students starting certain trades after grade 10.
By 2026, 1 in 5 job openings in Ontario will be in the skilled trades. These are rewarding jobs as welders, as electricians, as child care workers, and the list just continues to go on.
Our question to you, going from grade 10 to an apprenticeship, is it a good idea? 1-888-817-8995. Our Twitter handle is @CBC Ontario Today. And Bruce is in Ottawa. Bruce, do you want to weigh in? Is this a good idea?
I think it's a brilliant idea, but as always, they're manifesting it in the worst way possible. I've been a chef since 1981. Did my apprenticeship, finished by the time I was 21, and I've probably mentored 40 to 50 apprentices over the last 40-odd years. When I lived in British Columbia on Salt Spring Island, I had a young woman that was working for me, and she was getting her hours towards her apprenticeship, and she was skipping school to come to work. So I went to the guidance counselor and I said, look, she obviously doesn't want to be in school. How about if she goes to school for 4 hours in the morning, comes to me, I'll sit her down, she does an hour's worth of homework, and she works in the afternoon, and those hours counts towards her apprenticeship. She finished her apprenticeship by the time she was 18 years old. She was a head chef of a restaurant by the time she was 23. So in this hybrid system, she was in school for part of the day, in the job site for part of the day, finished with a full high school diploma with all the English, math she needed, and came out ready to go into a trade, and was hired instantly because she had an amazing skill set from working in the restaurant. She had her high school diploma, and now she's ready to go into the workforce. So saying to someone that you can come out of school in grade 11 and go right into the workforce and then get handed a high school diploma when you finish your apprenticeship is not the right way to go. Do it as a hybrid system, and you will have much better workforce.
Your feeling is it that they are really missing something by skipping class altogether, by skipping that experience of grade 11 and 12 altogether? They're missing.
Yes, I agree. That's what I feel. They could do both at the same time, as I said, and other people on the island started to do this, and it got the attention of the Ministry of Education, and they were saying, well, what are you doing? And we explained, and they said, well, that's a really good idea. We had a plumber on the island that was doing it. We had a stonemason on the island that was doing it. And these were kids that don't, like myself. I did not want to be in high school. I hated high school. When I found cooking and got my cooking apprenticeship, it was like seeing the world in color. And it was the same with these other young kids.
Well, listen, I don't know why you left Salt Spring Island, but I'm glad you took the time to call into the show today. I want to thank you very much. It's interesting insight. Thanks, Bruce. We've got Matt on the line now from Northbay. Matt, what's your feeling about this? Again, this is about the provincial program that is going to allow students in grade 10, if they are vying for a career in the skilled trades and they have an apprenticeship that accepts them to skip grades 11 and 12. What do you think about this?
Well, I actually think it's a very good idea. Of course, it's not going to be for everyone. Myself, I actually jumped into the trades straight out of grade 10 back in 2006. No longer in the trades due to a medical condition, but there was some struggles along the way. However, I found that I was able to learn a lot more with hands-on, like a lot of students today. I was able to grasp some very good life skills, and of course, the math came naturally to me as, of course, my father was a master electrician himself, for everybody. However, the more people that we can test and try out that way, it will advance society as a whole, like in infrastructure-wise and everything, quicker than making kids, him and haw through grade 11 and grade 12 and not know what they want to do coming out of high school.
If they don't see it's relevant to them. Take me back to Matt, 16 years old, and making that decision to go off. Were there times at that age, 16, 17, 18, where you missed being with your peers or the experience of high school? Were there times when you felt that this was, that you lacked some maturity? I'm just trying to get a sense for that 16-year-old.
Absolutely. You have to live your life. There were missed opportunities, of course, with my friends and high school acquaintances and so on and so forth. But if I didn't take the path that I did, I don't know where I would be today. It really set it in stone for myself, and I was very successful while I was in the trade. Of course, I've moved into sales and supplier now. However, I don't think I would have the life skills to do what I do now without about a decade in the trade.
So you see the light is red over there, so I'm not in a rush to get there because
you left grade 10.
it'll probably change by the time I get there.
Were you considered a student who had dropped out of high school then?
Try and
Did you
figure
get a
out
high
how long
school
it takes for your
living
life to
certificate
change.
eventually?
Yeah.
Especially if it's a street that you're on, like, often. And you're not, like, left waiting. People's exhaust for too long because it'll shortly change as you get there. And then you're not burning as much gas. That's why you should always leave space so their exhaust isn't going into your like ventilation system.
And being immersed right into the workforce. And I understand that there's a lot of hurdles that you have to jump over, especially with training at such a young age and not being able to focus so much on, the work or the task at hand, and being kind of pulled away from it by your peers and friends. But at the end of the day, I think if they're real friends and so on and so forth, they'll stick with you and they'll push you and support you through your choices, no matter what they are.
Okay, well, very interesting to hear from you, Matt. Matt Bradley is with us, our guest for the hour, and Matt works with a lot of students who are interested in the trades. He's the coordinator for this provincially funded program that works in all of the Ontario school boards called the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. One thing that we just heard from Matt Northbay, Matt, and he says that in 2006 he was able to leave and get involved with an apprenticeship at that age. So what is the change here exactly?
So I think it was actually in 2006 that the Learning to 18 amendment to the Education Act went through, where they changed the minimum age that you had to be in school from 16 to 18. So he probably was totally compliant with the law at the time that he left school, but currently he would be non-compliant under the current legislation. So it sounds like what they're proposing is going to potentially revert to allow students
you got kids,
like Matt to go on and pursue their apprenticeship right away in grade 11, which
or they lose interest in
for the
school,
right student,
I
think is a very exciting, and it sounds like from Bruce's perspective as well, like this is this was their path basically, and they sort of really benefited from starting early.
Father was also an electrician and had a lot of supports. Who is the student you're worried about?
So, it's interesting. There was a couple of quotations from really enthusiastic students that you played at the top of the show, and my concern is that students are going to jump into this, leaving school. So, hold on one sec. Sorry.
That's okay. We can't hear it.
Okay.
We can't hear it.
So, so students who would jump in to, leaving school without being fully aware of the complexities of starting an apprenticeship. So we're obviously concerned first and foremost with the overall success of the student, and then secondary concern would be sort of building up the economy and the labor force.
Is there, I've heard you say that, but is there a student, particularly students who are already perhaps marginalized from some communities in particular, who are struggling in school, who may not be successful in an apprenticeship program, and who is the big loser, might be a big loser at the end of this? What do they end up with at the end of this for this person who doesn't make it in the apprenticeship program?
Well, I mean, this is one of the interesting parts about apprenticeship, is that the hardest part is actually getting your very first job as a registered apprentice. So if a student left school and they managed to secure a job as a registered apprentice, then I have pretty high level of confidence that they would be able to get their certificate of apprenticeship at the end of that process. The challenge is to get that first job, because, you know, if the student has no prior experience, it's going to be very challenging for them to get a paid job as an apprentice. You know, with the sort of employers, you know, currently, like we heard off the top, the employers want students that, you know, that they have prepared, that they feel safe with, that it can ultimately add value to the company when, as soon as they are become employees. Mm-hmm. And my concern is that students who jump into this without securing an apprenticeship first are going to have a really rude awakening about the challenges in the successful start to their apprenticeship.
And then they're out in the cold, perhaps missing a year or two of schools. In my mind, I'm thinking about a student who is perhaps has poor reading skills, poor writing skills, poor math skills, who is not enjoying school, and is thinking that perhaps they may have some success going off and working in this area, but in fact, all of the things that they've been struggling with hit them in that environment as well. And then they come out of the other end, no high school diploma, no grade 11, grade 12, or any supports that 16 and 17 and 18-year-olds should have, and with nothing at the end.
Yeah, that's the worst possible situation. So obviously, I think how this is operationalized and how this is implemented.
Clearly, if you have a problem, student like that, you're gonna pay close attention to them.
Show their true value and their ability to
work on their strengths,
on the correct path.
Work on their weaknesses.
For a lot of students that would be interested in exploring careers in the skilled trade, the OYAP program really allows them to have both
see you guys later, man.
Both
have a good one.
Pathways at the same time.